Well, building higher to help in the fight against the housing crisis. One of the solutions being looked at here, Montreal greenlighting taller residential towers to help tackle the housing crisis. Two major projects, one near Frontenac Metro, the other at the old De la Miséricorde Hospital, have been approved. More floors than originally planned. City says this fast tracking is needed to boost density near public transit. Let's find out a little bit more. Kaïla Munro joins us on the line, borough councillor in Verdun, also the president of the Economic and Urban Development and Housing Commission. Kaïla, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Elias. Glad to be there.
So, can we just build higher and solve things here? What are we talking about?
Well, the housing crisis is on everyone's mind these days, and our administration has kept focus on alleviating it by preserving affordable homes and definitely increasing the stock on the market. So building more is helping indeed.
I have to ask about the timing on this one, because the people who have been saying, hey, we've got a problem, we need to build more. This has been years and years and years and years. It's not lost on me that it's an election year, and then this move is being made. Am I cynical here to say this is also about trying to prove something's being done in an election year?
There's always been a focus on housing. Back in 2017, I wasn't elected, and I was hearing the mayor talking about housing as a major priority for Montreal. So I think it's always been top of mind, but there's definitely some economic considerations and some political ones as well. If you look at the province, they just unrolled the Law 31 to help municipalities build more and denser. So that's a tool in our toolbox. So things are moving, and the economic climates with the costs of materials and the markets as they are right now in this economy, we just need to move faster.
What do you say to critics who are worried about density? They're worried about some historic buildings being demolished here, and that you're simply going too high, that they don't want to see taller towers. What do you say to those criticisms?
I understand them. I mean, I was raised on Nuns Island, and I saw towers going up from a young age, and I mean, it's a big change of mentality. The fact is, we do need more housing with all the projections of populations, and it's on many fronts that it's a dire need. So we're doing what we can, and it's been, again, in the works for so long. Going back to your question about why this news, if you look at the urbanism plan for 2050, and if you look at the common goal between the private sector and community organizations to reach a 20% of affordable housing and social housing, all of these are moves that are made to answer to the housing crisis. So going back to your question about towers, and everything needs to be made in consideration to the environment. So it's not about putting towers everywhere. We have elected officials and people in place in our teams who are making sure that these are integrated in their environments and keep the DNA of the locality of the community, and it's all tied in. But there is a pressure.
One of the things
to be answered.
One of the things here that seems to make a lot of sense, right? I'm looking specifically at the Frontenac Metro project. They were going to do 12 stories. Now it's been bumped up to 20 stories. So you're almost doubling the number of stories there. And again, it's right on top of a metro station, right connected to public transit. Is this what should we expect, that as we move forward, whether it's the Blue Line extension and other things, we should see massive housing projects sitting on top of metro stations?
I'll put it down to a very family-oriented scale, okay? If for a family not to have to pay a car sometimes, to be able to go to work by metro station, to be able to go to the hospital, go to their appointments throughout the city, visit family members through public transport, it really helps in a budget. So when you're thinking about how difficult it is for the cost of living, these kind of projects are going to help house a lot of families from different generations who have those needs and perhaps won't be burdened by having to buy a car.
So I think this segues into our next topic here. We're with Kaïla Munro, borough councillor in Verdun. I want to talk about the metro, keep talking about the metro here, because, there was a pilot project, and I thought this was actually a long-term decision. Turns out it was just a pilot project here where homeless people in the metro were told you can't loiter, you can't stick around, okay? And I think the balance here is, being just and empathetic to those who are living on the streets, but I'm also thinking about being empathetic to people who no longer felt safe, taxpayers, families that no longer felt safe using the metro. Now so like I said, that's been put on pause, that pilot project. What can you tell our listeners about this? Because I heard from listeners say, hey, Elias, things have gotten a lot better. And maybe they're looking at this news that we're going to go back to how it was, and they're not too happy about it.
I understand their concern, and as a metro user, and I've seen different situations myself. It was a very tough climate during this winter, but as you put it, Elias, it was a pilot project, and it was meant to end. And now that we're going towards, summer and it's springtime, there might not be as many difficult situations. And the point is to sit down and look at the numbers and look at what was done and how we take on a next step of action. So to be clear, it's perfectly considered, and it's just important to take a step back sometimes, finish a pilot project, make sure to assess, and then move forward. But
whose concerns are going to come first? Will it be the concerns of those who don't have a home, or will it be those citizens? I think, the 99% of people that use the metro and they just want to feel safe. Who's going to win at the end of the day when it comes to determining a decision and a path forward?
Would you expect me to say one or the other? I mean, it's certainly important not to put them in opposition, right? It's not to privilege one group or another or say X, Y is more important, or the idea is to come up with the best recipe possible for everyone. So I think that move was important, and it was done, and now we're looking at another set of actions for making the metro safe for everyone.
Kaïla, before I let you go, let's get the plug in for your beautiful borough of Verdun and tell us what's happening on Wellington Street, which I know there's been magazines that said is the coolest part of the world, for crying out loud. What's happening on Wellington Street?
We're very lucky. It's going to be, I would expect, a beautiful summer. And we have, just on Tuesday, Borough Council allowed more projects for terrace and even barbecues in August. So I would invite you to come around.
Excellent. Well, it is a spot that I always make sure I venture to at least once during the summer. Thanks so much, Kaïla, for your time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. That is Kaïla Munro, Borough Councillor in Verdun, President of the Economic and Urban Development and Housing Commission.